I'm going to show you how to calculate the macros of your home cooked brownies. You can see here that I'm using an app. This is the My Macros Plus app, which is available for Apple and Android. It's a $3 cost, but it is definitely worth it with all the capabilities that you have to make macro counting as flexible as you want it to be. So you can see here at the top left, I'm going to press this button and I'm going to do recipes. Create new recipe. I'm going to name this homemade brownies. And before I get started, I'm going to want to calculate the weight of the pan I'm going to make the brownies in. So I'm going to put that on my scale. I'm going to weigh it empty with nothing in it. And I'm going to take a note of that because at the end of baking, I'm going to want to weigh that dish with the brownies in it, subtract the weight of the dish so I know the final weight of my cooked product, which is going to be important information for us to know. So I'm going to add my first ingredient. And so if you have not added any ingredients to your database before, you're going to want to add custom ingredients. If you've already added ingredients to your database, you're going to want to use the custom and favorites because they'll already be there. But for the add custom ingredients, I'm going to add my first ingredient, which is flour. And I'm just going to go down and fill out all these fields. So on the nutrition facts of my flour packaging, I can see at the top it says serving size, 1/4 cup. But next to that, there is a gram amount, and it says 30 grams. So I'm going to enter that right here in serving size. And under serving name, I'm going to choose grams. So for a 30-gram serving of my particular flour, it is 110 calories, 0 fat, 23 carbohydrates, and 4 protein. And I'm going to save food. And now this is going to populate right here in my list. And I'm going to get everything else ready now, just to have it ready for when I make my recipes. So I also use butter. So it turns it a little bit gray there. It can be hard to see, especially if your phone is on grayscale. I use baking cocoa. Moringa sugar. And eggs. So as I make my recipe, I'm going to weigh each ingredient. And I'm going to track that here so we know what I have nutritionally for the whole recipe. So for my recipe, I use 217 grams of butter, 242 grams of flour, 48 grams of baking cocoa, 453 grams of sugar, and 205 grams of eggs. So one benefit of this is I can go off of this recipe and actually weigh out my ingredients in the scale as I make the brownie. I can make modifications because to be technical and precise, you really should reweigh and not just use the former calculation of your recipe from previous batches. You should try to do it every time. If you can't, I haven't had any huge problems with that, but to be precise, that's what's recommended. So I have all my ingredients here, and then I'm going to bake my brownies. I'm going to save because obviously that's going to take some time, and I don't want this to time out. So when my brownies are done cooking, I can go here to my recipes tab, and I can look for homemade brownies. And I'm going to want to go into edit. Obviously, this is the calories and protein, carbs, fat for the entire recipe. I don't want that. So my final weight of my brownie, subtracting the weight of the pan that I noted earlier, is 1,128 grams. All right, now I can update this. I can add this to my lunch and I can slice myself a brownie, weigh it on my scale. It was 30 grams. And now you can see here exactly what is in my homemade brownie. I'm going to add it as a single item. And you can see it's right here with my lunch. So if you'd like a more technical explanation of what's going on or just have it in list format, please check out my blog post. And I hope this helps you to continue to do some home baking while you track macros. Have a good day.